Hello and welcome. Today is that of Thursday, the second day of November 2017. The day, as far as the calendar day on the Eastern time zone, is getting close to that of the end. And well, quickly, we got the Bitcoin chart on the 400-minute time frame. I'm just playing around with some different levels, and I've added the 400-minute time frame because this represents the 5-day moving average. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a premium service, or at least I'll explain that in this video and go over one code, which will be that of PesetaCoin, PTC, and we'll go from there. And what I've written down is the following. It's a lot, so if you just want to skip through this to get to the Verge chart, then it'll be a decent amount for me to probably read this. This is my first take in doing the video. Usually I can get it done in one take, so I don't know how long this is going to take. As of about a half hour ago of this writing, maybe an hour ago, 24 codes were up on BITTREX, 171 were down. So that tells me that there's over 200 codes on that site. Many of them, at least a good number of them, are a waste of time. But I'm going to go over every single one of them, as well as other ones, in the next few days, probably starting tomorrow. Today is relaxation day for the rest of the night, but quickly, as far as the webbot is concerned, and you can take it for what it's worth, but they've been talking about these wild moves up and down moves that can make your heart wrench and stuff like this. And well, this is what's been going on. So check mark. And a lot of the things stated upon Bitcoin, I'm just amazed myself within it. It's talking a lot about altcoins doing well and soon. And the but within such, some may take many, many weeks even. Some might not even start going into 2018. And even then, a lot of the stuff they've talked about time, I'm seeing stuff happen now that was supposed to be happening in like the summer, as far as these wild moves that's been talking about. But I mean, it's, again, for what it's worth, many more cryptos are to come. I've heard in different video forecasts where if he's talking about next year in the future that there's like tens of thousands or something. I mean, there's 1,253 of them that I see on market cap. And as far as the webbot has been stated, many cryptos to fails to be that of scams. And I know I've seen a lot of, or rather, I haven't seen a lot of the scams because a lot of coins that I haven't been interested just come and go. If I wasn't following what was going on the JSNIP 4 channel, I'd have no idea what BitPetite was. But that sounds like that was a huge scam with so many other ones. So a lot of coins that I'm going to talk about, there could be a percentage of them that could very easily go to like nothing or close to it. Because even though they've been around for months or years, they could pretty much go to nothing. But as stated, if there's going to be many, many cryptos coming, the fact that many of these alts will be doing well, I think it's not a bad strategy. And the strategy I'm doing is buying a whole bunch of altcoins as I move forward. I mentioned in October I'm going to move down and start selling it like now and again, like sell a bit now, sell a bit here, sell later, sell later. I'm doing the opposite now. I've been buying and I'm going to buy more because that's been the plan. So it's important for me to actually take a look at a lot of these codes, which is what I'm going to be doing. So there's over 200 coins on BITTREX. There's a few more on POLONIEX that aren't traded on BITTREX. Others that are live elsewhere, and quite frankly, and that's a small spelling mistake, but my keyboard isn't quite handy for me at this time, so I'll get that later. In fact, I'm not even going to change that. But there's the other ones that aren't on the two sites. I'm really only going to go over the ones that I know that are worth putting on there, so you might only get like 5, 6, or 7 of those, like Smart Cash probably, but I only go over a few of those. Now, how many of these coins are going to fail? How many of the failures will have future gains? For example, Maybe you buy something at, say, 5,000 Satoshi. It will eventually pretty much go to like under 100 Satoshi, but before it does that, you buy it goes to 20,000, and you're able to at least not only take out your buy-in, but even get a small bit of profit on top of it before the thing rolls over on you if you don't get completely out. So, premium video probably coming. It's almost definitely going to be coming. And the work on my end, like I want to go over every single code and then I'm going to have to report the information that I go through. This is a lot of work, but it's work I got to do for myself as it is anyway. So the work on my end, part one is look at over 250 codes, probably closer to 260 to 275. That's going to take some time. Good thing I could ace exams back in the day. And when I point out ace, I'm not only talking about, I should have got perfect twice, but not only getting perfect on them or close to it, but doing it in an insane amount of time. The first one where I didn't get perfect was mathematics, some sort of mathematics class. And I think it was a 2-hour exam. I can't remember the length of time. And there was about 100 of us to 150 in the exam room. I was the first one out. I finished that exam in about 15 minutes. I don't know what the average would have been, but I did have to wait for a carpool ride, and I waited a decent amount of time, I would have thought, but that was over 20 years ago. And the only reason I didn't get perfect was because I didn't even go to class that year. I went to the first class, I went to both my tests, and I went to the exam. And my mistake, when I went through the information, I missed the last page or two. So when I was writing the exam and I was just boiling through it, I noticed 2 or 3 or 4 questions were like, I don't know what this is. And there was no way I could have figured it out, so I just literally guessed. And then when I went home, it took me like 5 minutes to learn it. And I would have got it perfect. And then about a year or two later, in another accounting exam, this was this was a 4-hour exam, but most people did it in 3, and I did it in like 25 minutes, 20 minutes, and the teacher literally just looked at it and put 100% on it. I proofread it; it was 100%, which was awesome. So the whole point of this is I can work fast. I can go through this stuff fast and effective. So that's what it is for me. It's part of the game. Is you challenge yourself. How good can you do it in a quick amount of time? Because part two is going to be the exact same way. But I figured it's going to take me 2 minutes per code to do it. So it's going to take me pretty much a good part of a day to 2 days to do it, because I can only do like an hour or two and take a break. I mean, 40 minutes and I'm taking a break. Part two is doing the Booker video. So I'm probably going to, I'm going to do several AVI downloads with roadmaps to where you can find each code, because I love the idea of actually writing a book. Well, what needs to be done, I would rather do it in video format. And the idea of the video link, I'd probably do like 20 to 30 videos, maybe not too many, but I don't want to do like 30 and 40-minute videos because that's big downloads. So say video one link, and I would just, in the email, you get something like this. So if you just quickly want to say, just put your buy order in, and then you can download the video here. And I'd probably include a whole bunch of ones. And I want to make videos that have lots of info in as little time as possible. So I don't want to just do it quick and miss out on information. I don't want to go on and on and on and ramble about stuff that doesn't need to be stated and turn like 75-minute work that should be done and actually do it in 3 hours. I don't want to do 3 hours when I could do it in like 70 minutes. So the job becomes much easier when notes are prepared to accomplish such. And I've done this so many times. I've done thousands of videos on here. Sometimes I prepare notes. That was like 2008, 9, 10, 11, and maybe 12 and 13. I don't do as much notes now. It's all in my head, and I just think of what I'm going to do, and I just do it. So the projected amount of codes covered will be in the area of around 60 to 100. But for codes I have a waste of time that were not requested will be the ones that do not make the list. So if somebody says, yeah, I like this code and I consider it a waste of time, if one person states that they're going to want that code, I'll put it on there no matter what. But the time expected to do either a book or video would range in a few hours of time. When adding the pre-time work would be about 6 hours in production work, because I have to do this anyway. Look through the codes, figure out where I'm going to buy it. If I'm going to want to win in this crypto game, I have to do this for myself. But I don't have to write all this extensive notes and make the videos. And if I figure ad revenue, it would yield me, I would guess, about $10 to $20 in making that. So that venture would not be possible unless the videos you are getting on the fly right now with the recent ideas in my head, it's easy for me to do because I basically get a penny for every 3 videos. So I'm going to get like $1 for like 300, 10 for like 3,000. So I sure could put out like 10, 12 videos, but I think cumulatively that's all I would get on it, so it doesn't make it worth it. And so I thought if a cost of 150,000 Satoshi for access to the video download links would be a very reasonable for both traders big and small. To combat high Bitcoin prices and even Litecoin prices, at least at some places, you can send Pink from POLONIEX. It's only approximately 3 Satoshi and transfer fees. Why trade, like, why pay like more when you don't have to? Yeah, and then I've even checked on BITTREX. Komodo is about 70 Satoshi Bitcoin value to transfer. ABY I checked was 50, and then Verge was 22. Whitecoin was 16, and then PesetaCoin was about 1 Satoshi. I don't even need to look at it anymore. Just buy 150,000 Satoshi worth to put PTC, and you're basically only paying the 0.15 or 0.25% now, because that's like nothing of a fee. And then on POLONIEX, 3 Satoshi. Again, that's like nothing of a fee. And at 150,000 Satoshi and at $7,000 Bitcoin prices, that makes the information costing about 10 US dollars. So I find it to be affordable for both traders with bankrolls, even as small as 500 to 1,000, and layers higher than that, and especially at 5-figure plus is a microscopic level. If you got 5, 6, 7, especially 8 figures, it's obviously not much of a cost given what the risk reward or the risk reward ventures can lie towards. And for myself, selling 6 to 8 copies given the extra time should be fair for me, which is why I figured this to be the correct number. And I'd be curious to see exactly how many sales I would get. I've even thought about doing an idea about maybe putting up like 20-25% of it up in a contest later on. That's something I think would be a cool idea too. Just something for some fun too. And then anyway, there's a lot to read here. This high level of work is what I need to do as a trader, and because I feel there is a large enough demand for such, I will give this a try. If I sell 4 to 5 copies, then I will either stop this or raise prices much larger in the future. And the reason why is because if there's like 2 or 3, 4 people that really want it, it's gonna take me like 2 extra days, or maybe maybe a couple extra days in time, maybe one full like 8 hours of real time to do it. I'm gonna do it if it's worth it. If I sell well into the double-digit figures, like I sell 15, 16, 20, 30 copies or whatever, then I will try to keep premium content coming, but more importantly, working towards improvement each time, because this in itself is a game for me. How well can I get this out? Because I have an idea in my head what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to show you in probably a couple minutes what I would be thinking with PesetaCoin. I haven't seen that chart, or at least looked at it more than a few seconds in a while. So I'm going to be looking at it as I would beforehand, thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to want to probably do. This is how I'd probably want to report it in that kind of manner there. I'm also thinking about writing a book, and I want to write, but I really do loathe writing books. I don't like doing it. And I think about it, well, if I put in a video series, that would be more fun. And instead of writing and how you put in a book setting, how would you put in a video production series? I like that a lot better. And this would take hours of video time, a lot more in preparation time as well. And I thought quickly, if I did such, what would be the cheapest price I could really sell it for? And quite frankly, it wouldn't be low. I'm not guaranteeing anything about writing this. The first part about doing a video series, probably like for like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah, that's gonna happen. But it would be like 0.015, which would be like at least around $100 if I was to do something. It would be like at least. You're talking about a 80, 90, 100-page book in video, how long is that going to take? Because I could easily write 100 books. Again, writing as little as possible, as much as possible. Getting all the best information I can so you can understand it and work with it in as little time as possible. And the chapter that I don't, so basically everything that I know other than my favorite strategy, which is a lot. And the chapter that I don't know if I want to sell, which is my favorite strategy, that'd be very expensive because then you would be competing against me. And that's why I wouldn't want to do it. And that's basically where a lot of the other stuff I talk about. I don't think there's really anything that I can give that would hurt my competitive game. But giving out my best play would almost be like me as a poker player saying, yeah, okay, we're in this big tournament. This is what I'm going to do. And literally giving out genuine information, that would just not be smart. But of course, there's poker players that actually charge for that. So I don't see me ever wanting to talk too much about giving that strategy away in fine detail. Okay, I not only want to focus on where I like to, but the specific. See, this is why I don't like writing of books. I hate my grammar. I not only want to focus on where I like to, but the specific code patterns that have specific strategies I'll try to point out. Today is late Thursday, and due to magic of me knowing how long it will take to make the video, I can give advance notice to the approximate hour when it will come out, making the information you get within the last several hours. I mean, this I can't even read it. Although information is long term, there will be basically, once I know that I'm about to do the videos, I can come out and tell you this. Probably going to take me 3-4 hours to do it. It's going to be about 9, 10, 12, 14, whatever different videos, 5 minutes here, 8 minutes here, 5 minutes there. With the last video being the most recent of information so that I can get on it, say, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say, sometime this evening I will be putting this out. This way I can be available so that I can send out the links thereafter that. So now on to PTC. Let me get my typewriter, or keyboard, I guess. I actually took typing in high school in 2 different grades, grade 9 typing and grade 10 typing. Grade 9 typing was on an electronic keyboard. Grade 10 typing was on a computer. Okay, PesetaCoin. I'm going to have to take the log off this because this is under 100% or 100 satoshi. No, it's not. It's 400. Okay, good. I'm glad because I was like, man, I don't want to show this because I hate having the log off. Okay, so I'm looking at the 400 time frame. So myself, I would look at this. I got to look at every time frame. What do I see? This is raw technical analysis. Okay, this is where we're talking. Yeah. So I have to take the log off for this. I really almost have to just scroll back. And obviously, we see the major volatility moves, which is what the primary focus is. Looking at this on the 1 week chart, I see all of these sticks, which tells you, I mean, as a trader, this goes in the strategy of where you want to be very aggressive with your sell orders, and there's nothing wrong with waiting for prices to go much lower. So these are the things I'd be thinking of when I'm analyzing this chart. Now, of course, when I'm doing analyzing it, it's taking much longer for me to do it now because I'm explaining what I'm thinking, which takes a lot of time. And I can think fast, actually, when I'm actually not saying anything, which is another reason why I wrote those exams really fast. But that math exam wasn't fair because that calculator could do work so fast. Okay, so daily time frame. You've seen those big moves. Of course, those are the up and down moves. Obviously, if you're looking for entry positions, just buying now, I mean, it's already down so much. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you look at this pattern and you're like, oh man, you're seeing it slowly hit this 18 average and it's about to break support. So it doesn't have anything bullish, especially when you're looking at this day in here. That's screaming that it wants to go down lower. And of course, I got to look at multiple time frames. On the 400-minute chart, you see this situation of it going sideways. Now, here's the thing. When you want to buy this, you want to buy it when it's low, and it's at the 18 average of low. So one of the strategies that I think about here is you buy now, and you want to sell north of these averages. So you want at least your lowest sell points when you look at previous resistance is in at around 533. We're looking at 478, so 22 plus 33 is 55. So we're looking at a little over 12% just for your first immediate sell target. That's not bad. It's not bad. If you're playing this really short term, you look at these choppy moves up and down. Okay, so what kind of moves are we getting here within the hour? We're seeing it come up to like 500, back down to 471. So if you're in the mood for taking 7-8% flops, this is something you could just work around within the day, hit your moves, and just be active on the computer. I probably should do that more often. I really, really should. I just don't have the time to, though. I don't like to play short term. But I mean, when things are going off and things are in action, then you have to play short term, but consistently. That's what I'm referring to. Because oftentimes I get, or sometimes anyway, I get asked, how often or what time frames do you trade on? And it's when things are active, I'll go 5 minute and 1 minute. But I'm looking for decent gains. I'm not looking to pick away at this at 477 and try to get in at or get out at 491 for like a 3% gain. I'm not trying to do any of that, or even trying to. Oftentimes, I'm looking for decent size gains along the play. So there's no need for me to move this on short term. So now that I look at this, where would the big buy order spot would be around the 367 mark. That's where it's going to fall if it's going to break through that support. Now, that's only one small level. It could even go deeper towards this little area in here towards 300. But as far as you never know. So you're always trying to do the best you can. When you're looking for legs lower, it's got to be significantly sized. And that's a decent enough size. It's not too big, not too small. If I've learned anything from those three bears, you got to get it just right. And long term, I would write in here, I would cover this code. I would say, yeah, buying now is fine. But if you're looking to get a cheaper price, I like the odds of getting 367-ish area, 375. And then again, if you want to play the even numbers, maybe a hair above 300 is also good to go. And if you really want to try to just keep on playing it, because one of the strategies that I should talk about as far as playing bear markets is how far can you go down the rabbit hole. Especially, and it works out really well when it's already down enough and you can start buying it now, which is why if you have no entry and just starting the game now, this is a great time to start this game and just start accumulating now, because everything's cheap. It can be cheaper, which is why I like the strategy myself of buying a bit now and have a strategy to buy later. So in here we got 375. And then you can, where do you want to buy again? 300, okay. And unless you're doing small amounts and you don't mind having dozens and dozens or even over 100 buy and sell orders, I'm not that type of person, but other people might be. Maybe you go in around 200, 100, 125. Technically speaking, you see these types of moves, wildly speaking like this, you can get yourself in potential to get some big gains, because you're going to want to be looking for more longer term sells, even up towards this resistance at 800. And there's nothing throwing out the fact that this thing can move up to like 1500. There's been so many codes that go up 10 times as easy as it is to order Tim Hortons coffee in Canada. It's pretty easy. Some of them anyway. So to think that all of a sudden something could come out with this and hit like a 10, 12, 13x gain, most certainly. But the idea for myself as a trader is I don't know which ones can do that, because even if I could understand the fundamentals towards it, then that doesn't guarantee anything. At the same point, though, you can know fundamentals and say, oh my goodness, PesetaCoin is so good, and you're finding this out up here when it's 920. But market psychology says these things are going to move up wildly. So even though you could be right on a fundamental level that there's certain good codes to come, price double, twice as higher as they are now, are going to be good. And technically speaking, if you were to buy here with that information and maybe wait a year, you'd probably be right. Or wait 6 months or however long it takes. But the whole point is, if you have multiple different plays, and I want to have a good variety of different coins, that when those coins are ready to go, because when we look at these up moves, when they're ready to go, they just shoot up high so fast that you get in on it. When we look at this back in the past, you'd have to go like with these sell orders every single time. This one, like all of them, it's so amazing for these types of codes. Now, of course, I've spent so much time just covering this. I'm on the 26-minute and change mark. So I'm going to conclude it in the next couple minutes. You already know that because if you've seen the time on this video. But when I'm going to do my presentation and I'm going through my notes, I have to think, okay, how can I present this to give you the most information in the quickest amount of time? And the easiest way for me to do it is to practice how I would say it in my head, because I could do it in a third of the time. Okay, do this and this. And then after I do that, okay, so now I want to cover this, write the notes, talk about these different gains, talk about the buy orders. We already know 374, put them in, talk about this, and that. And then hopefully I can then talk about many dozen codes, and hopefully not much more than an hour in time. So that's my plan, and thank you for tuning in. I'll be getting to work starting tomorrow. As of now, it is about just quickly checking the market, doing what needs to be done, which probably won't be anything, watching some hockey, checking the market, watching some hockey, checking the market, and going to bed. Have yourself a great night. Bye-bye.